So before we start, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. So let's start. So today's vlog, we're gonna tackle about Albert Bandura's social cognitive theory. Who is Albert Bandura? So Albert Bandura is considered the leading proponent of this theory. So he is Canadian and American. Albert Bandura is elected president of American Psychological Association in 1974. Albert found that people learn not only as a result of their own beliefs and expectations, but also by modeling or observing others. For example, in the picture, there are 5 kids who play hula hoop. And as you can see, there is a young girl at the back trying to perform what her playmates perform, and she tried to observe on how to play hula hoop. Why social cognitive theory? So social cognitive theory is also known as SCT. So the goal of SCT is to explain how people regulate their behavior through control and reinforcement to achieve goal-directed behavior that can be maintained over time. So social cognitive theory has an experiment named Bobodal experiment. So Bobodal experiment says that components of learning occur through observations and behaviors. Bubble doll is an inflatable toy that is approximately the same size as a prepubescent child. The aim of Bandura's experiment was to demonstrate that if children were witnesses to an aggressive display by an adult, they would imitate this aggressive behavior when the given opportunity. So, assumptions means belief. So, we are now focusing on assumptions of social cognitive theory. So, first is the learning performance distinction. So it emphasizes the difference between learning through behavior and actual performance of the behavior. The belief of SCT is the learning you get from behavior is not necessary to perform or practice. Motivation driven. The second part of the assumptions of SCT. So, motivation is very important, especially if you plan a lot of things. You need to motivate yourself always. So, motivation is a driving force behind our human actions. So, the third one is the behavior is eventually self-regulated. So, it is also a self-regulation. It is our ability to manage everything like our attention, energy, emotions, and behaviors in ways that are socially acceptable and help us to achieve our goals. So the last one is a punishment and reinforcement. It can give bad impact in learning process. Punishment, there are advantages and disadvantages. So realization is one of the advantage of punishment. He realized the action he attempt. He or she will gain a lesson from that punishment. But the disadvantage of punishment is, unfortunately, there are students who are so sensitive. They feel a high self-pity and it can degrade their confidence. So now we move on to reciprocal causation, model, environment, learning, behavior, person. So first, we have environment. So inside of the environment, there is a situation, rules, models, social norms, feedback, goals, and prompts. It is also best known and most comprehensive description of the field. It is also known as human factors. So through environment, we can learn. So the second one is behavior. It is a complexity, duration, and skills. It is also a behavior that a person consciously chooses in order to minimize the negative impact of their actions in the environment. So the last one is person. So person is also known as cognitive or cognition, or also as self-efficacy, personality, and motives. So it is determined by the interplay of behavior, environment, and cognitive processes. So also, we have a types of learning. So we have 2 types of learning. First is the inactive learning. It is a learning through actions and outcomes. And the last one is the vicarious learning. It is a learning through observations. So we have learning process requires. So first, we have attention. It is being attentive. The second one is retention. It is to store information and act on its vital observation. The third one is reproduction. It is to perform the behavior you observe or practice of the learned behavior leads to improvement of skills advancement. And the last one is motivation in order to be successful.
Social cognitive theory is crowded as several basic assumptions. The first one is models can be real people, like teachers, coaches, and etc. And the second one is media, which is book, TV, and magazine. And lastly, influence behavior, like positively and negatively. Particularly, let us proceed our characteristic of models. There are 3 types of characteristic of models. The first one is model are competent. Teachers are competent to their job. Like for example, they are competent enough to teach students because it's their field to work. And the second one, prestige and power. Like if someone has power or influence towards an organization or other people, they can gain respect and admiration or prestige by other people. Like a barangay. The barangay captain has the power to control and influence his or her constituents. That's why the people in the barangay admire, respect, and feel prestigious because of that. And lastly, performance tasks. And so, let us proceed the evaluation of learning and behavior. There are 7 types. And the first one, perceived self-efficacy, is determined as people's beliefs about their capabilities to produce designated levels of performance that exercise influence over events that affect their lives. Self-efficacy beliefs determine how people feel, think, and motivate themselves and behave. Ang perceived self-efficacy ay nanguhulugan na tungkol sa paniniwala ng isang tao o sa kanyang sarili, kakayahan sa anumang bagay at pagkakaroon ng mataas na level ng kumpiyansa sa sarili sa anumang gawain. For example, si Albert ang may pinakamataas na self-efficacy sa Ingles. Kaya naman ay kumpiyansa siyang makakuha siya ng mataas na grado sa paparating na exam sa English ngayong Bernes. And now, the second one, outcome expectations, are personal beliefs in the effect of an action on achieving a particular outcome. Ang ibig sabihin ng outcome expectations ay ang maaaring kalabasan o pagiging epekto ng gawain o ginagawa ng isang tao kung ito ba ay may magandang maidudulot sa kanya o baka maipahamak pa niya. Dito rin makapagdesisyon at matutunang balansihin ang mga advantages at disadvantages na maaaring epekto o kalabasan ng isang pangyayari. Like for example, kapag kumain ako ng fried chicken araw-araw, mas lalong sasarap ang pagkain ko. Kapag kumain ako ng fried chicken araw-araw, magiging unhealthy ang katawan ko. Next, goal setting involves the development of an action plan designed to motivate and guide person or group toward a goal. Ang goal setting ay ang pagbuo ng mga plano na siyang mag-udyok or motivate sa isang tao o kahit isang grupo patungo sa ninanais na makamit ng mga layunin. Example, hindi nakapasok sa university si Alex dahil hindi niya nasunod ang mga patakaran na kalabyagan niyang gawain, gaya ng pagsuot ng ID at pagpapagupit ng buhok. Kaya naman sa sumusunod na araw ay nagpagupit na siya ng buhok at sinuot na niya ang kanyang ID para makapasok na siya ulit sa university. Next, self-evaluation is the process of examining your own performance. Self-evaluation involves considering your strengths and weaknesses and being self-aware of how they affect your activities at work. Ang self-evaluation, dito mo susuriin ang iyong sarili kung saan ka malakas o saang banda ka magaling at kung sa anong bagay ka mahina na siya ring makakaapekto sa inyong mga gawain tungo sa paggamit ng layunin. For example, may binigay na trabaho ang head supervisor ni Vince sa kanya. Marami sa kanyang katrabaho ang hindi naniniwala sa kanya, ngunit ipinagsawalang bahala niya ito dahil alam niya sa kanyang sarili na meron siyang abilidad at kakayahan para magawa ang kanyang trabaho ng maayos at responsable. And next, goal progress. Curie proposed that rumination will continue until the goal is either attained or abandoned. And for example, si Hanna ay nais na mag-aral sa Cebu Normal University, ngunit upang makapasok sa university na ito ay dapat munang makapasa sa kanilang entrance exam, kaya ay nag-aral siyang mabuti para sa parating na entrance exam sa CNU. Sa kabutihang palad ay natanggap siya bilang isang mag-aaral doon dahil nag-aral at nagpursige siya ng mabuti. And the next, cognitive modeling describes how people perceptions of or spontaneous thoughts about situations influence their emotional, behavioral, and often psychological reactions. There are distorted beliefs influence their processing of information and give rise to their distorted thoughts. Ang cognitive modeling ay ang paghanga ng isang tao dahil sa kanyang nakamit na sharing nagbibigay sa iyo ng pag-asa upang sundin ang kanyang mga ginagawa sa paggamit ng kanyang mga layunin at sa gayon may ma-apply mo ito sa inyong sarili. For example, nakita ni Lim at Kay ang ginawang pagtulong ni Trifon sa matanda sa pagtawid ng kalsada. Kinabukasan, nakita ni Kay at ni Lim na may matandang tatawid pa lamang sa kalsada, kaya tinulungan nila ito gaya ng pagtulong ni Trifon sa matanda kahapon. And lastly, self-instruction is the action or practice of teaching, educating, or training oneself or self-education. Ang self-instruction ay ang pagturo o pagbigay kaalaman sa sarili upang matutunan din natin ang pag-analyze kaysa nakadepende lang tayo sa guro o sa taong may alam. For example, si Lester ay nagsimula ng mag-aral at magbasa sa kanyang libro kahit na walang sinabi ang kanyang guro.
So that's the overall discussion about Albert Bandura's social cognitive theory. So mga kabeshis, before you leave, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will notified if we have a new vlog. Thank you!